Hey everybody, good morning tribe. We are here to talk about healthy travel and food. So if you don't know me, my name is Katie. I'm a certified holistic health and life coach, and this group, this tribe, we are all about healthy lifestyle, positive body image, really, learning to love yourself, taking care of yourself, and kind of everything that surrounds that, and really creating that sense of freedom and expansiveness within your life. So, within the tribe right now, we are talking all about healthy travel. And we have been for a couple of weeks. I have been traveling, so it was kind of the perfect time to really bring this up. And I do get questions about this all the time from different people, from different angles. So I thought we would just take a couple of weeks and really dive into it. And over the last 2 weeks, I have gotten quite a few comments and private messages, and almost all of them have to do with food. Food is a big challenge for a lot of people, knowing what to eat, when to eat. This is challenging for many even when at home. So when you're on the road or when you're on a resort or something, it just gets even more challenging, right? So what I really want to do today is really just give you a few tips. So we're going to talk about different challenges that different types of travel bring. We are going to talk about what healthy eating is to you and why it's important for you to know that. And then we're going to jump through a handful of tips and strategies that you can use the next time you are on the road, away from your normal routine, that you can implement in your life to help you eat healthier while traveling. I am just getting over a cold, so I'm going to try not to cough and sneeze and stuff, but if I do, my apologies. We're just going with the flow. That's just how it is today. Okay, so let's get started by really just talking about different types of travel. So this is a very broad topic. I feel like we could so easily break this down into like healthy eating while staying at a resort, healthy eating while dining at buffets all the time, healthy eating while staying in Airbnbs or while traveling internationally, like whatever it is. We literally could break it down. So because the thing is, each and every one of those types of travel has their own unique challenges. Not one is the same. None of us are the same, right? So whether you are traveling alone, with a friend, with a partner, if you're traveling with kids, your circumstances are going to be different. Okay, so that means that you are going to have unique challenges as well. I can tell you for myself, I do most of my travel, I do solo, and a lot of what I do is big, long haul international trips. So I might be on a plane for 15 hours, connecting flights at either end. Sometimes, like quite often, I'm traveling for 24 hours or more at a time. And my body is having to adjust to like 12 and 15-hour time differences. So that definitely comes with a lot of challenges. When you are flying like that, you might not necessarily have control over all the food that you're brought. Yes, you can opt in to different meal options. I always choose the vegan option while flying. But you still don't know what it's going to be. It just kind of arrives in front of you. When you're traveling internationally and you are changing time zones, your body clock gets really messed up. Some people are not greatly affected by this. I am. I'm really, really, really sensitive to the time. So it takes me a hell of a long time to adjust. But that also means that my body's like, am I supposed to eat? Am I not? I'm hungry. Should I be? I don't know. You should probably feed me. I get that all the time. Like my body's just hungry at random times of the day when I'm traveling. So that's definitely a challenge that, I've come across a lot. Another really common type of travel is road trips. So this is something that quite often we either do alone, we do with friends, with family, with children. And this could be just a single day. This could be a weekend. It can be a whole big extended thing where you're traveling for weeks on end. Again, this is challenging because quite often when you're on a road trip, you do not have access to a kitchen. you are in the car for long periods of time. Maybe you have a cooler or an esky in your car, maybe you don't. Maybe you get to your hotel at the other end, maybe there's a fridge and a microwave, maybe there's not. So this is definitely challenging as well, but there is a lot of things in there that you can control. And that is one of the things that we are going to talk about in just a moment. Another really common type of travel that I hear from a lot of people is going on vacation. So maybe you are going somewhere, you're staying on a resort, maybe it's like an all-inclusive place or some place where you have, like, you're eating from a buffet all the time. And the biggest challenge with healthy eating there is, well, number one, again, you don't have complete control over, you don't get to choose everything that's put in front of you. But also, so many people are coming from this space of, it's like a diet mentality, where in everyday life you are depriving yourself of something that you really want. Whether that is, I'm not going to have sugar, I'm not going to have ice cream, I'm not going to eat chocolate, I'm not going to have whatever. And then suddenly you're at a buffet and there is like a plethora of that thing and you kind of like can't control yourself, right? We've all been there. I have definitely been there. So that is a really huge challenge when you are staying at a resort. So when we get into the tips and strategies, they are all going to apply in different ways, but they are all going to help with all three of these things. The next really important thing to do, and we have to do this before we start talking about how to make it better or how to help, is defining what healthy eating while traveling is to you. I always love my definition, the way that I personally define healthy eating is probably not the norm. This is also the way that I like to talk to all of my clients about it, and it is food that lights you up. Food that makes you feel energized, food that makes you feel amazing, food that makes you happy, makes you feel really satisfied and satiated. That does not mean it's always going to be fruit and vegetables and salads, and that does not mean it's always going to be ice cream. Healthy eating, my definition of healthy eating is really about listening to your body and eating in a way that feels good, eating really mindfully, using your intuition, tapping into your body's innate wisdom, and eating so that that feels amazing. The healthy eating we're talking about today is not about restriction. This is not about not having dessert. This is not about, limiting everything. This is about eating in balance. This is about eating in a way that feels really good, and eating mindfully as often as possible, not mindlessly. This is something that you can practice now, and it is a practice. This is something that you can practice now, when you're at home, when you're in your regular routine, so that when you are on vacation, when you are traveling, when you are, out of your normal space, you are already, you've already developed this skill set, so to speak, or you've already started putting some of the building blocks in place. If you don't prep for this at all, if you don't look at finding what foods light you up, if you don't define what healthy eating is to you, and you are traveling and suddenly you're like, I have to eat healthy, I have to do the things, I have to do all the things that everybody says I'm going to do, you're setting yourself up for failure. So you really need to define what healthy eating is for you first. If this is a challenge for you, if this is a struggle for you, I would love to hear about it. Like, comment below, tell me, because it is for most people. All right, healthy eating is not one of those things that is just innately within all of us. Most of us, for most of our lives, have been taught really with a diet mentality, which is eat more of this, less of this, eat at this time, fast overnight, don't eat sugar, make sure you eat lots of this. And it actually has nothing to do with listening. It has nothing to do with honoring your body's needs and really listening to what your body wants. And if we can start that now, you're setting yourself up for success in so many ways other than just travel. But anyway, I digress. We don't need to go down that whole path. So, but that really does lead us beautifully into tip number 1, which is plan ahead. Planning ahead means, again, different things for different types of travel. Planning ahead definitely means mindful eating, what I was just talking about. It definitely means arming yourself with the tools, the mental tools that you need. It means learning to listen to your body now, right? So that is a massive, massive, massive one. Again, if this is a challenge for you, I would love to hear about it. Please feel free to comment or send me a message. This is one of those things that is an entire program. This is not something that we could cover in a quick little webinar, but it's super, super, super important. And you can start putting the building blocks in place now. Another way to plan ahead is a really practical way. So that might be whether you're flying, whether you're going on a road trip, pack snacks. Like, seriously, pack snacks. It is not, I used to think that if I was flying, I couldn't pack a snack. I just couldn't do it. They wouldn't let me on the plane. They do let you on the plane. You're allowed to bring food with you. I've flown both domestically and internationally. You are allowed to bring snacks. Some countries don't let you bring food off at the other end, so you just have to eat whatever you've got, with you. But generally, you can bring food with you. So that means, oh, Carly, how do I eat healthy in airports? Everything is so expensive. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And that is the dilemma, right? So that's also where this comes in. Packing snacks. I have packed things of the obvious things, right? So things like granola bars, trail mix, just bags of nuts, really, really good. You can also, I've actually known people who literally made a sandwich and brought it with them. That's a real thing. You can do that. It's like packing a kid's lunch for school. You can do that. Or it might mean spending an extra $3, spending more money than you normally would, but having a really healthy meal. And sometimes that is the toss-off. I'm not going to lie, airports are expensive. We all know airports are expensive. If you've ever even tried to get a coffee or anything in an airport, they jack the prices up. So that might actually be it. That being said, I was flying last month and I went through an airport and I got a massive, it was like bigger than my face. It was huge. It was a great big salad. It was 3 different salads. There was like a wild rice and sweet potato. There was a lentil something and like a Greek style salad. Huge big thing for $12. Like, okay, I wouldn't normally spend $12 on salad, but seriously, it was so delicious. It was really, really filling and it was really, really healthy. So you might have to actually eat more money, or you might have to actually spend a little bit more money if you don't want to pack snacks ahead. Also, if you're going on a road trip, snacks, seriously, will save you. I know some people are not big, they don't really want to do a lot of the work ahead of time. They don't want to do a lot of stuff at home. Then you go to the grocery store and you buy the pre-made stuff. We all know that that's available. You can even usually buy little things of like hummus and baby carrots. I just normally buy like a big thing of hummus, big thing of like crackers or something crunchy that you really like. Carrots, cucumbers, celery sticks, all sorts of fruit. Fruit is great for road trips. Again, nuts, seeds, granola bars, trail mix, all that sort of stuff. This does not need to be a full 3-course meal. This is food that will fill you up and satisfy you while you're on the road. And again, with road trips, you can normally put like a cooler in your car, a cooler or an esky, again, depending on where you're watching from. We call them different things, but you can normally put one of those in your car and bring your food with you. Yes, you might have to plan ahead. Another really, really great way to plan ahead, if you are going to be staying at hotels or staying at Airbnbs, find a place with a kitchen and find where your nearest grocery store is. It makes a world of difference if you have a little, even if it's just a little fridge and a microwave. It makes a world of difference if you can plan that much ahead. even better is if you can maybe stay in an Airbnb that has a whole kitchen in it. And then really it's not much different from being at home. You can still prepare all of your food like you normally would. Sometimes, I've heard people say like, well, I can't, like I'm going to be in a new city and I don't know where anything is. Plan ahead. Last month I flew from Australia to Phoenix, Arizona for a conference. And I was staying at a resort. And the very first day, while we were jet lagged from having flown for 24 hours, we got on Google Maps, found our nearest Whole Foods, and took an Uber there and went shopping. So your only excuse really is that it's not important enough for you. So again, this comes back to defining what healthy eating is to you. And if for you it's like here and there, but more or less I'll just kind of eat whatever I can find, that's cool, then do it. For myself, it was really about having lots of snacks and lots of healthy breakfasts, and a couple of wraps and salads for lunches, and then going out to eat at a restaurant every night for dinner. So that's what I did. So I prioritized it. So you really have to decide that this is a priority and that it's important to you, but also really recognize it does not have to be that hard. It just doesn't. Do your work ahead of time. Next is really deciding what your goal is. And this tip is very similar to defining what healthy eating is for you. But what I mean by defining what your goal is like I just said, do you want to plan ahead and just have healthy snacks? And then you're happy to have all of your meals be whatever you can find, whether you're on a resort or a cruise or whatever. Or do you want to maybe do your breakfasts and your lunches and your snacks and maybe just have one meal out at a restaurant? So you really need to decide what your goal is. And also, if you tend to place other restrictions on yourself, whether you are vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, whatever your thing is, obviously some of those things, like if you're celiac and you're gluten-free, non-negotiable, right? Like just non-negotiable, non-negotiable. Let's not be crazy. But if you are, for myself, I was vegan for a very long time. But when I traveled, I would eat more vegetarian. I was less strict. I would just have eggs every once in a while if I couldn't find things with no eggs, or I would have a little bit of cheese every once in a while if I couldn't find things without cheese. And I was willing to make that okay simply because my goal was to enjoy my trip and eat as healthy and eat in a way that felt good to me without being like militant and super, super, super controlling, because that is the challenge, that we can kind of go overboard into that space. So decide what your goal is ahead of time, again, and then that will really, really help you when you're in that space. So if your goal is just like, I generally want to eat as, I'm just using my example because it's what I know. If your goal is, I want to eat as few animal products as possible, no meat, and as few other animal products as possible, cool, so plan for that. If your goal is, I don't eat a lot of sugar at home and I really don't want to get all like sugary drinks and sugary desserts, great. Then maybe what you need to do, especially if you have a sweet tooth and you know that you like to satisfy it in other ways, maybe you need to plan for that. And maybe you need to make sure you have a lot of fruit or a lot of other sort of naturally sweet things that are not going to spike your blood sugar in the same way as the processed stuff will. Number 3, and I love this one, and this one can be really hard for a lot of people. Choose what you want and don't settle. And what I mean by this is, if you are on a trip and say you have decided that you want to try this restaurant because you looked it up and it has exactly what you want, and you're with somebody else who's like, I don't want that. Too bad. I know it sounds bad, but like, too bad. So compromise. Find a way so that you can both get, or all get, depending on how many people you're traveling with, exactly what you want. You should not ever have to give up your health to make somebody else happy. You should never have to sacrifice what feels healthy to you to make somebody else happy. And if you have a loved one in your life who is asking you to sacrifice your health for their palate, for their satisfaction, that's not cool, and it's a whole other conversation. But really, this is not about having it be all your way either, right? It is about compromise. And can you maybe eat at different places? Both get food, get takeaway food and go eat somewhere else. Does it have to be in the restaurant? If you are at a buffet or at a resort, the beautiful thing about it is that pretty much you get to just choose whatever you want to put on your plate. Just because somebody else says, oh, look at that, you should try that thing. If that thing does not feel good to you, if that thing does not fit within your unique definition of what is healthy, who cares if they think you should try it or not? Like you should not sacrifice your health for somebody else. Yeah, mic drop, boom, exactly. So often and I think women tend to do that more than men, in my experience at least. We want to make everybody happy, right? So many women really want to make everybody else happy. So somebody else will say, oh, you should try this, or we should go here. And we immediately just drop everything that we had decided, drop all of our needs, drop all of our wants, and just, okay, whatever you want. Who's guilty of doing that? Really, seriously, put your hand up. I have done that so many times in my life. And just no more, especially when it comes to your health, especially. And that leads beautifully into number 4, which is listen to your body always. Our bodies are amazing. Our bodies are so full of wisdom, and they tell us what they want. It's up to us to listen. And your body will speak to you, obviously not in language, but your body will speak to you very clearly. And that speaking may be in terms of feeling really bloated after eating a certain food. It may speak to you in terms of feeling really tired after eating a certain food. It may speak to you in terms of feeling hyperactive when you've had too much caffeine, or feeling really depressed after you've had alcohol. Your body speaks to you. It tells you what it wants. It tells you if you've done something or eaten something that it does not like. And it is up to you to honor that. And one of the biggest things that we talk about in this group is self-love. And one of the big pillars of self-love is self-respect. If you love somebody or something, you respect them. It's part of it. And if you love yourself, if you love your body, as we're working on this journey to love ourselves more, part of that is respecting your body. And respecting your body happens when you listen to it. If you had somebody come to you and speak up and say, hey, if your best friend came to you and said, I really don't like when you say this, it makes me really uncomfortable. And if you looked at them and went, meh, and you just said it again, that's so disrespectful. It's like a slap across the face. So when your body is giving you a clue, I'm really tired or I'm really bloated or something in response to a certain food, and you feel it and you go, meh, I'm going to keep doing that anyway. That's so disrespectful. It's like a slap across the face to your own body. So really, 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 I want to encourage you, listen to your body always. And the last one, which is so important, is that please remember health is not just food. Okay, food is a complicated topic, yes. And it is one that many people get hung up on. And I think that's why I got so many requests to talk about it. Because we are told that that food is the key. Food is what makes us fat. Food is what will make us skinny. Food makes us happy. Food can make us sad. Food is the key. But food is not everything. Food is one part of the equation. True health is, yes, fueling your body in a way that feels amazing to you. But True health is also feeding your mind. It's also allowing yourself to relax into a space, into a situation. Health is also listening, right? It's self-care. It is managing your emotions in a way that feels good. And guess what? Every once in a while, that means eating chocolate. And that's cool. I eat chocolate all the time. Health is also about moving your body in a way that feels good. Whether that is hiking, walking, going to an exercise class, whatever it happens to be, moving in a way that feels really good to you. Our health is complex. And I really, really want to make sure that we are not defining our health by food. It's just so important to me that this is not a one-dimensional conversation. So I really wanted to end on that. I think that's super, super important. But again, just to recap, the 5 tips, 5 strategies that we really talked about today. Well, number 1, this is kind of, I suppose there's actually 6 really. Number 1 is defining what healthy eating is to you. What feels good to you, what lights you up. Number 2 is plan ahead. And planning ahead might mean packing snacks. It might mean researching where your nearest grocery store is. It might mean making sure that you're booking an Airbnb with a full kitchen, making sure you're booking a hotel room with a fridge in it. It might mean buying a little, like I did on my last trip, buying a little portable battery operated blender to make your own smoothies in the morning. So plan ahead. Number 3, let's call it number 3, decide what your goal is. So again, is this vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free? Like, let's define your parameters. Number 4, choose the option that you want. Do not sacrifice your health for somebody else. Don't be a hard ass. You have to meet in the middle sometimes, but meeting in the middle should never be at a sacrifice to your health. Next is listen to your body's wisdom. Oh, I could talk about this all day. Our bodies are so wise. Our bodies are beautiful, and they deserve to be listened to, and they deserve our respect. And last one is remember that your health is a complex thing. This is not one-dimensional. This is not just calories in, calories out. Again, calories is, I don't know why I use that word. That's, again, a whole other thing. But this is not just about what goes into your mouth. This is about what you think, what you say, what you do, how you show up, the energy you bring, who you surround yourself with, how you take care of yourself, your sleep, right? It's like 100 other things. So food is just one part of the equation. So I would really encourage you to not get super, super, super hung up on food. So if you are watching, whether you're live, whether you're on the replay, if you have questions, if you have comments, I would love to hear them. If something is not clear to you, if you'd like me to go into something further, please let me know. This is something that is really near and dear to my heart. I do travel a lot. I love traveling. It's one of the big loves of my life, for sure. But it definitely, without a doubt, comes with its own unique set of challenges. And the more that I learn to really care for myself in a myriad of ways, and the more that I learn to honor myself, listen to my hunger, and eat in a way that feels good to me, not eat in a way somebody else has told me to, which, if you haven't noticed, is why I didn't tell you how to eat in this, because that's your body's wisdom. It's not my wisdom. That's really what it's all about. Really, that's what it's all about. So thank you so much for watching. Again, please, questions, comments, leave them below. I will definitely be jumping back on here to answer them. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching.